Hello, my name's Emma from Balance Works Yoga. Thank you very much for joining me today for this practice. Today's practice is based on the idea of Satya. So we're in the third Yama today in this series, and Satya translates as truthfulness. So as with all the yamas, we think about how we can apply that to different areas of our lives. It's truthfulness in our thoughts, in our words, and our actions. And at sort of surface level, you might think that you maybe don't go around lying to other people, you're honest with other people. You can go a bit deeper than that and maybe think about yourself. Just thinking about the way you live your life and the behaviours and the actions you take. Does it line up with what are your true values, whether you know what they are or not? And that might change as you go through your life as well. But yes, something that I just that made me really think about it the other day was I was listening to an interview by Miranda Hart and about her book that's called I Haven't Been Entirely Honest With You. It's a really very sort of opening book about the last sort of 10 years of her life, where she has had a bit of a sort of mental and physical collapse really. She's been out of the public eye, and she has been sort of discovering things about herself. The thing that really resonated with me was the idea of her not being honest with herself, and it's taken her to this point in her life, sort of early 50s, to realise that earlier on in her life, previously, this loud, bubbly, funny character, extrovert character, wasn't really aligning with what she really wanted and felt true inside to her. Whether she's much more comfortable when she's somewhere quiet, she has her own space, she's in the countryside and things like that. That's the impression I get anyway. So it's actually not been very good for her health to carry on sort of portraying this persona of someone that's not really who she is. So yeah, it just made me really think that trying to connect with what you really believe in and trying to live a life that connects with that truth is really important. So we'll have a little think about that today as we move in our practice. So trying to find variations of movements and poses that feel honest and true. So even sitting like this, if it's not comfortable for you, then you can make adjustments and use support, use blankets, blocks and anything else, or just change poses so they feel good and true to your body, which is very different to my body and everyone else's. So we are all different. So today we're actually going to start in a child's pose and try and find a variation of a child's pose that suits you. So you can use blankets if you need to cushion yourself. You can use blocks. So coming into just whatever kind of child's pose variation feels supportive, where you can just relax. It's quite an extreme stretch through the knees and the ankles, so you can always wedge a block or a cushion or something underneath your bottom, sort of in between your bottom and your calves, and just rest it there so you get a little bit of support but not quite as deep a stretch. You can have something underneath your head, or you can create a pillow with your hands and just find a little child's pose that you can relax into and just hold for a minute or so as we just start finding a bit of stillness and checking in with ourselves and just deepening the breath. Maybe reflecting on what our true self is, what are your true values, what's important to you in life, what makes you feel comfortable and alive and happy and content. As you find this child's pose, some people like the arms outstretched, some people alongside them. You can widen the knees or keep them underneath you. Have a little rock across the forehead. And just settle here, just noticing all the stretches that you can feel through the hips, through the knees, through the back. If you need to make adjustments or add something, bring the block underneath my forehead because I'm feeling a little bit nasally, a little bit sinusy. Coming down low like that. And just take a couple more breaths in this pose, just noticing all there is to notice in your body,
in your mind, breathing deeply, and trying to use the exhale just to relax a little bit here. Let the muscles just adapt to the stretch, soften. And then slowly calming up slightly, walking the hands underneath you, bringing yourself upright, roll the shoulders. Again, that might not be comfortable on your knees, so you can always bring the hands forwards. In fact, everyone come into a tabletop now. We're going to bring the hands on the mat. Move the block. Just take a little wander around the mat. We can walk the hands to the top of the mat or out to the sides and just begin to warm up the wrists. Maybe turning the fingertips round towards our knees. Spin them all the way back round. Maybe pointing them inwards. Take a few little circles in different directions with the hips and just begin to warm up the wrists and notice all the sensations. Might be that you want to walk the hands forwards and get a nice little puppy stretch. And then once the hands are back on the mat, just flip the palms up so you get a little stretch through the other side of the wrist. Maybe just one hand. You might be able to do both. If that's too intense, you can always bring them a bit closer to your knees. Use a blanket, bend the elbows as much as you need, or straighten the arms. For a bit more intensity, you can always curl the hands into fists as well, or wiggle the fingers. Then we place the hands on the mat. Just going to tuck the toes as we walk our hands up and just experience this deep stretch through our feet and our toes here. Now that might be too intense if coming up like this. So just you can have the hands on the mat or come down to your forearms if that's better for your wrists. And just as we sort of slightly draw ourselves backwards, see if we can find the intensity of this stretch through our toes that feels good for us. I was also doing another video from Emily Roll Yoga actually, and she uses the term finding your soft edge in yoga, which I really liked. Yeah, your edge is that place where there's enough sensation in your body to hold your attention, but not so little that your mind wanders. So if I'm down here and I'm starting to think about something else, I might just want to deepen the intensity slightly until I can feel it. Let's take another breath. Place the hands underneath you. We're going to untuck the toes now, so you get a stretch from the front and just coming up into a kneeling position in this kind of thunderbolt pose if it feels okay. Or you can take it a bit more intense by bringing the fingertips behind and maybe leaning back, lifting the knees, and you can just increase that sensation through the tops of the feet, which might be too much. I feel like that's my soft edge, but if just sitting like this is your soft edge, then just stay here. If you want a bit more, you can lift the knees and rock back through the tops of the feet in the big stretch. Awesome. Let's press through the shins, coming up to a higher kneeling position. We're going to rotate the wrists. Again, you can tuck the toes here if you prefer, or have the feet flat and rotate them all the way back down. Let's sweep the arms up. Take a big inhale and exhale. Sweep the arms down and just control the movement down as we lower our heads almost down to the mat. They might touch, it might not. And inhale, coming all the way back up. So using the breath and the arms for this nice little warm up. Exhale down. You can always bring your head to a block if coming all the way down doesn't feel so good. Inhale up and exhale down. Inhale up and exhale down. Whoosh, whoosh the air out. One more. Okie doke. Next time we're up, we can bring the hands down to the hips. Just going to extend the left leg out the side and take a little lunge. So just taking a little lunge into the leg with the foot flat and just see how this feels. It doesn't have to be all the way at the side. It could be a little bit more of an angle here. And just take a little lunge, getting a nice deep stretch through the thigh, the adductors. Take a little lunge. You might want to walk the foot out a little bit further. I'll just come to the side so you can see the sort of movement. And then once we're back sort of upright, we're just going to turn the knee in or turn the hip in to get that little rotation inwards. And then come back up, rebend. extend, pivot on the hip, and then rebend. So we're kind of bringing the toes up, taking a rotation down, lifting back up, and bending. This nice little hip opening movement in both directions. Just going to face back in this direction. So next time you bring the foot flat, going to slide the foot in slightly and heel toe the foot or lift it to the front of the mat and find low lunge position. So take a moment to get situated here and have something underneath your knee if you need to here. You can shuffle the foot forwards if you take an extra bend in the knee here just to get a nice stretch to the right hip. And then pressing through the foot and coming back up, we're going to press through both feet, the top of the back foot and the front foot. And we're just going to inhale up, reaching up. And then exhale, cactus the arms, opening up the chest. And then exhale, bring the hands to our lower back and just draw the knuckles downwards, getting a lovely stretch. Lovely. And then release. You can bring the hands down, framing the front foot, or you can hold onto a block or something here. We're just going to lift the left toes and straighten the front knee and get a little hamstring stretch here, folding over the front leg. Doesn't have to be too low here, you can be high. Exhale, just a hinge from the hip. Doesn't have to be fully straight either. And then replant that front foot down. We are going to bring both hands to the right side of that foot and sweep it all the way around behind us. Take it nice and long, maybe taking it all the way off the right side of the mat so we can look over our right shoulder at our left foot. Inhale and exhale. Not sure where Harry is today, normally on his bed. And then drawing it back in, back underneath us, and just drawing a few little circles with the hips. And then we're going to extend our right leg out to the side. Walk the hands up. We're going to come back into that lunge position and just take a little lunge, bending into that right knee. Turn to the side so you can see the movement. Maybe taking the foot out a little bit further if you want to go deeper here, protecting the left knee, and then lifting the right toes and taking a pivot in, rotating at the hip. Then up and lunge, extend, rotate. Just noticing the movement. You choosing the depth you go to. It feels good for your body. It doesn't feel good, then you can have, under your knee, you can have a blanket under your knee or a cushion. And the next time we plant the foot, we're going to slide the foot in slightly, heel toe or lift it to the front of our mat. So we're facing, bring it to the top of our mat and finding our low lunge position. Going to press through the feet and reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, cactus the arms, opening the chest. Inhale, squeeze the hands and the shoulders back, and then exhale, bring them down to our lower back. So you can just send the fingertips behind, or you can interlace and just squeeze the shoulders a bit further, get a lovely stretch across the chest. You might sink the hips down a little bit further here, just see how that feels. And then release the hands and bring them to the left side of the right foot. And we're going to sweep that foot all the way to the side, get a nice stretch as we draw a big circle all the way behind, or half circle, all the way off the left side of the mat, and look over your left shoulder at your right foot. Keeping the hands nicely planted, wrists under the shoulders. Take a big breath down the right side of your body. And then slide it back in. We're going to come into downward dog now, so tuck the toes, press through the hands and spread them out like starfish. Engage the core, press through so protract the shoulders, lift the knees, and just draw the hips back, pedal the feet. And just enjoy a nice stretch in downward dog, but you can adapt it around. You can bend the knees as much as you need. And then we're going to walk our hands to our feet. There we go. Bend the knees a little bit here. Find our forward fold. You can find, again, a variation that feels good and nourishing, so you can let the arms dangle. You can hold on the elbows. Bend the knees to bring your belly a bit closer to your thighs. Or find a bit of support on your knees if it doesn't feel so good to come down so low. But have a nice bend in the knees, so we're trying to get that hinge from the hip. Whichever variation, take a little Couple of breaths here, relaxing the upper body. And relax the arms and slowly roll up. You can walk the hands up the knees, the legs if you need. Rolling up. Head coming up last, little shoulder roll. And finding our mountain pose. Once we're here, have a little rock forwards and backwards through the feet. Maybe lifting the toes or coming up onto the tiptoes. So just rocking our weight backwards and forwards, using your hands to help you. Maybe they come up and down. Whatever feels good here. Maybe taking a big breath up and down as we come up on our tiptoes, and just check in with our balance. Find a focal point. Really good to just test that and strengthen our feet. And then bringing the feet, going to move my blanket now. Don't need that for now. Bring the feet hip width apart and just rocking from side to side and just distributing the weight from one side to the other. You might widen them slightly here, so you can maybe come up on the toes of the other foot as you rock from side to side. Bring your weight, maybe the toes lift up. A nice gentle test in with our balance, and it helps ground our feet. Make sure we're connecting to the ground. Awesome. I'm going to bring the feet a little bit close together and just bend the knees here. So we're coming into a chair pose, just bending the knees down, sliding the hands down for now, then coming back up. Let's do that one more time. Sliding the hands down, maybe reach the arms forwards, and then come back up. 2 more times. So bend the knees, bringing the weight through the heels of your feet. Maybe reach the arms forwards. And then one more. We're trying to keep a nice long back. Bend the knees, reach the arms, pause for a moment. Draw the belly in as we come all the way back up. Awesome. Take a little march of the knees. Just stretch them out here. Maybe opposite hand to opposite knee. Planting the foot down sort of with control, so we're not doing it with too much weight here. It doesn't have to touch your hand, it could just be lift. Just a little gentle march. Awesome. Let's just begin to take one across the body. So we're going to just open up the hip a little bit here, give it a nice stretch. And also just a nice little balance test. And then bring the feet, just widen the hip width apart and take a few little hip circles here. So sending the hips backwards and forwards. Nice little circle, let the knees be slightly bent here, not locking out. And the other direction. Lovely. And then we're just going to do a little balance challenge here. So really good for our legs, strengthening our legs and all around our hips as well. Going to bring our weight into our left foot first of all. If your hands on your hips or wherever helps you keep balance, maybe they're out at the side, we're just going to tap our right toes forwards, right toes to the side, and the right toes behind the space. Maybe we'll just pop them just behind. I'm going to move that block into a little bit of a curtsy lunge. So just further behind the body and then directly behind you to the side and to the front. And we'll just repeat this action. Side. Oops. Just getting your balance. Taking a moment to get this control. Bring your hands wherever feels good. Taking a little bend in the knee as you come behind you. Let's see if we can do one more. Lightness on the toes if you can. Find a focal point. Awesome. Okay, lovely. Just have a little shake out, especially that grounded leg. Shake each leg out. And I'm going to cross the right foot behind the left and just take a little fold here, a little stretch. The arms dangle and then slowly roll up. And then we'll go on the other side, so ground through the right foot this time and Find a focal point, your drishti, a gaze. And when you're ready, we can tap the left toes forwards to the side, directly behind, so like 6 o'clock. And then a little bit of an angle, a little curtsy lunge there. And then come back to 6 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I'm trying to do the opposite of me. It might help to think about the numbers around a clock or not. It doesn't really matter too much where you're tapping the toes. Keep a little softness in that supported leg so we're not locking out. Breathe. See if we can do one more. Hopefully hitting our soft edge. But any pain, obviously, stop. Awesome. Shake out, especially that grounded leg. Then tuck the right leg behind the left and just slide forwards and take a little fold here. Inhale, exhale, and then rolling back up. Awesome. Okay, so one more little thing with the legs while we're standing. Something else that's really good for our leg strength and our hip strength, enable us to sort of continue to be able to get these maneuvers, so you can, get your socks on even when you're 80 rather than having to get someone else to do it. And so we are going to come to the top of our mat and just ground into the right foot, lift the left knee, just see if you can find your balance to lift it up. And then we're going to step back into a high lunge. Just take a moment, take a little bend here. And then inhale as we spring it forwards and then back into the lunge. So again, whatever you like with the hands, up and down. Again, you choose the range. If that's too much, you can just tap forwards and back with the toes. That's still a challenge on that supported leg. Or you can lift and lunge. Let's see if we can do 5 more. 4. Feel it strengthening. 3. Take your time though. 2. 1. Awesome, lovely. Another little march here. And you might need to take a little quad stretch as well, so you can tap your feet to your glutes, or maybe you can catch your foot. Whew. Getting quite warm now as well. Shake, 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 and then we'll do the other side. So, top of the mat, ground through the left foot. Take a moment, maybe come up on your right toes first before you're ready to lift the knee up. You can reset at any point and then step back. Find your low lunge, making sure you're on tram lines, not on a tightrope here, and then lifting the knee back up. Low lunge, lift the knee back up. So nice wide stance so that we've got a bit more stability when we come back into the high lunge. Let's go 5, 4. You don't have to go as deep. 3. Keep your focal point. 2. Lots of control if you can. 1. Woo! And march. Maybe hug the knee in. Well done, everybody. Shake out. Whew. And we are going to just take a nice big breath now. So press the feet. Inhale up and exhale. Take a nice fold. And just feel the stretch of the back of your legs. Bend the knees as much as you need. And you can always hold onto a block here. Either bring your left hand down to a block or to the mat, and then bend in the left knee and reach the right arm up. And just get that stretch through the right leg. And gently lower the right hand down, bend in the right knee, lift the left arm up. I like to just take a little wrist rotation at the top as well. Why not? And the lower back down. We're going to widen our toes slightly, point the toes out, see how it feels coming into a little yogi squat. So just lowering the hips, using the block if you need to, or just staying fairly high in the hips and Just nestling your elbows into the inside of your knees. Or if you can come lower, have a go. You can have a little rock from side to side. Just finding again your soft edge, your variation of a squat that you can hold for a few breaths. You can always sit on a block or a little stool, trying to get a bit more of an upright position. Heels do not have to touch the ground, so either holding onto something or find a little balance here. Relax the shoulders. Take a couple of breaths. And then we're coming down to our bottoms. You can either support yourself down or you can bring the knees forwards first. And then however you do it, just extend the legs out in front of you. Bring your hands behind you just to jiggle the legs, give them a nice stretch. Slightly out of breath this morning. I think I'm a little bit, still got the residue of a cold. And so yeah, they're coming up and down. You sort of noticed it, a little bit of blockage. So bear with me. I'll have to take these little breaks in between. Really important to listen to your body. Every day is different when you practice yoga, and just honour that in the body rather than just powering straight through. Listen to your body, it's normally right. Okay, we're going to just draw the right foot in, extend the left leg, and just take a little stretch here. So you can always just give this knee a little massage. Going to sort of pivot our torso, our pelvis, so it's facing the bent knee, the right knee, and then just keeping this leg relaxed. You can always have a bend here. You can always put a block under this knee. Just going to slide the hands, so slide the left hand down towards the left ankle or wherever it wants to come to here, feeling until you feel a stretch in your right side. Maybe the right arm wants to float up here. Breathe into it. And just see how it feels. Once your arm is kind of floating there, it might feel a bit strange. You can always bend the elbow and bring the hand behind your back, or you can just rest it on your hip. We're trying to keep that shoulder back a little bit, but hold a position we can just find a bit of stillness in, maybe looking down towards your shoulder, letting the neck stretch here. Try not to keep tension anywhere in the body, so relax the legs, relax the muscles in the face, and just breathe into this side of the body, the right side of the belly and the rib cage. And these slightly longer stretches, taking big deep breaths, and just noticing all the areas you can feel in your body, the sensations. Breathing into that area. And slowly coming back up. I'm going to bring both hands behind us and just lift the chest, squeeze the shoulders back a little bit. Inhale. Counter the previous stretch, and then coming back upright. Going to extend the right leg now and hug the left one in, just drawing the sole of the foot towards the thigh. Make any adjustments with your sit bones. You can always wedge blankets underneath. It really is worth taking time just to see if that makes a difference. That can often just rock the pelvis forward slightly, just sitting on the edge of a blanket, even as I did then, and just lifts the back slightly rather than us rounding down. So once we're here, turn the pelvis to face the bent knee, the left knee, going to slide our right hand down towards the right leg. Again, they can be a little bend here. Just soften the foot and feel the stretch down the left side of the body. Maybe the left arm wants to come up here. Inhale and exhale. Turn your gaze down, inhale and exhale. You can either stay with this stretch through the arm, or you can rest the hand behind your head, or you can bend the elbow and just bring it behind your back, or maybe it just stays on your hip. Find a variation with the arm, explore the sensations, and find some stillness, and we'll take 4 or 5 more breaths here. These yin stretches are just great for all our connective tissues. They respond really well to just a longer hold. The fascia holds us all together. We are going to slide back up. Take your time, bring the hands behind, either on fingertips or plant your palms down and just lift the chest here. You might send the head back slightly, but with a bit of support. See what feels good. Squeeze the shoulders and then bring ourselves back forwards. Just going to extend both legs out now and crawl the fingertips forwards and get a little forward fold. Doesn't have to be too far, especially in a straddle. That's quite hard. So just enjoying a little stretch to the back of the legs. You can always have a bend to the knees. And then slowly coming back up. We're going to come down onto our backs for a fine little stretch out and a little bit of Shavasana, however long you've got for this. Just try and carve out a bit more time. And just rolling back. You can hug the knees in. Have a little rock around. Nourish any tight spots. So it's nice to draw some big circles with the knees. And then let the feet come down to the mat, relax the arms nice and wide, and just a little windscreen wiper with the knees to either side, just to stretch through the hips. Maybe your head goes in the opposite direction. You can always take a pause on one side, take a big breath. And the shoulders melt into the mat a little bit here. Arms being heavy and relaxed. And come back to center. Extend the legs if that feels comfortable, or keep them bent just for a few moments in, just to pause and integrate the practice. Just taking a moment to think if you are living a life that reflects your true values, rather than saying yes to things you don't believe in, or maybe saying no to things that feel right. And maybe there's a little bit of fear. It's not always easy honouring the truth, speaking up when you believe in something, in fear of disappointment or other people's reactions. Maybe just reflect back to a time when you have been worried about that and kept quiet and not honoured your truth. Obviously there's lots of different situations and different things to weigh up in the time and whether it's the right thing to do, but maybe there's a time where you think back, that wasn't true to me, and maybe I should have done something differently. As you lie here, I'm just going to finish with a poem. So you can stay lying down or you can come up to seated, it's up to you for this poem. It's called The Quiet Truth. I wore 1,000 borrowed skins, smiled wide where silence should have been, spoke sweetly so the world would stay, but truth it trembled deep each day. It whispered soft beneath my dole, a quiet drumbeat in my soul, not loud, not fierce, not sharp or grand, just asking gently, will you stand? Stand for the word you did not say, the yes you gave that pulled away, the glance, the nod, the unseen frown, each truth that begged to not drown. Satya is not a blade or shout, it's not about calling liars out, it's choosing peace when lies would please and standing still in storm and breeze. It lives in breath, in pause, in gaze, in walking out of foggy praise, in saying no when no feels right,
in sleeping soundly through the night. And when I strip the layers down, the practiced smile, the painted crown, what's left is light, a softer hue, the quiet, sacred shape of true. I'm just going to finish with a little mudra. We're going to bring our hands together at our hearts and just interlace the fingers apart from the index finger that points upwards, and it represents Kali's sword of truth, the Kali mudra, which I find really helpful here to sometimes, if we need to tap into that courage and strength and bravery we need in order to do the thing that we find true, to honour the truth, which is sometimes a bit scary. So you can always come back to the Kali mudra when you want to try and find some inner courage. Thank you very much everyone for joining me today, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.